Picture this. You walk away from a chat with a friend, a colleague, or even a loved one, and a fog of confusion descends. You replay their words, but the logic feels slippery, just out of reach. Or maybe it's a wave of guilt that washes over you, a sense you've done something wrong, even though you can't pinpoint what. Perhaps it's just a profound sense of exhaustion, as if your emotional energy has been siphoned away, leaving you feeling hollow and off balance. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone, and there's a very real reason for it. The reason these encounters are so disorienting is that manipulation rarely announces itself. It doesn't come with a warning label. Instead, it's a quiet, insidious process, often disguised as concern, flattery, or even love. Manipulative people use subtle psychological tactics to influence your emotions, decisions, and behavior, often without you consciously realizing it. It's a shadow play of words and emotions designed to subtly shift the power dynamic in someone else's favor, often at your expense. And because it operates beneath the surface of normal conversation, you don't realize what's happening until you're already emotionally trapped, questioning your own perceptions and reality. But knowledge is power. So today we're pulling back the curtain. We're breaking down the top 10 manipulation tactics people use most often. We'll explore how they work psychologically, tapping into our core human needs and fears to gain control. And most importantly, we'll equip you with clear, actionable strategies, so you can learn how to protect yourself from them, reclaim your emotional clarity, and build healthier relationships. For example, if someone said, "Wow, I guess you just don't care about me anymore." This classic line is a prime example of guilt tripping. It's a subtle but powerful form of emotional manipulation designed to make you question your own intentions and character. Instead of directly communicating their feelings or needs, like saying, "I feel hurt because I was hoping we could spend time together," a manipulator will reframe the situation. They make you feel bad, selfish, or uncaring, so you'll do what they want. The focus shifts from their request to your supposed failure as a friend, partner, or family member. Manipulators love guilt because guilty people become easier to control. When you're busy feeling bad, you're not thinking clearly about whether their request is reasonable. Your brain naturally wants to reduce guilt quickly. It's an intensely uncomfortable social emotion that signals a potential threat to a relationship, and our instinct is to fix it immediately. So many people fall into a predictable pattern. Apologize unnecessarily for things that aren't their fault. Abandon boundaries they worked hard to set. Ignore their own needs to cater to the other person's demands. They do all this just to make the uncomfortable feeling stop. The manipulator gets what they want, and you're left feeling drained and resentful. How to counter it? First, pause before reacting emotionally. When you feel that spike of guilt, take a deep breath. This creates a crucial gap between the emotional trigger and your response. Then, ask yourself, am I actually doing something wrong, or am I being emotionally pressured? Separate your actions from their interpretation. Did you truly act with malice, or is the other person just unhappy they didn't get their way? Remember, healthy communication expresses feelings to foster understanding. It sounds like "I feel." Manipulation weaponizes them to assign blame and force compliance. It sounds like "you made me feel." Recognizing this difference is the key to protecting your peace. "I never said that." But you're too sensitive. You're imagining things. These phrases are classic examples of gaslighting, a subtle but deeply damaging form of psychological manipulation. It's a tactic where someone intentionally makes you doubt your own perceptions, your memory, and even your sanity. They systematically rewrite history, twisting your experiences until you're no longer sure what's real. Over time, this constant questioning chips away at your foundation. It's a slow erosion of self-trust. You start to feel like you can't rely on your own mind, leading to a pervasive sense of anxiety and confusion. You begin questioning everything: your memory of what was said or done, your emotions, wondering if you're overreacting. your instincts, which once felt so clear, and your perception of reality itself. The ultimate goal of gaslighting is to gain power and control. By creating a fog of confusion, the manipulator makes you dependent on their version of reality. They position themselves as the only reliable source of truth. Why? Because confused, insecure people are far easier to control and manipulate. It allows them to evade accountability for their own behavior. So, how do you counter it? First, start documenting. Write things down as they happen. Dates, times, and direct quotes. This creates an objective record that can anchor you in reality when your memory is challenged. Trust patterns more than their excuses or apologies. A single misunderstanding is one thing. A consistent pattern of making you doubt yourself is a major red flag. Finally, seek outside perspectives from trusted friends or a therapist to get a reality check. And always remember this core truth. Emotionally safe and healthy people do not consistently make you question your own reality. Your feelings are valid, even if someone else tries to convince you they're not. Another manipulation tactic is called love bombing. Love bombing is intense affection used to create a rapid emotional attachment. At first, it feels amazing, but sometimes the goal isn't love, it's dependency. The manipulator creates emotional intensity quickly, so you become emotionally attached before noticing red flags. How to counter it? Pay attention to consistency, not intensity. Healthy relationships develop trust slowly. Fast emotional attachment is not always genuine intimacy. Another form of manipulation is called the silent treatment. The silent treatment is emotional withdrawal used as punishment. Instead of communicating directly, they disappear emotionally. And suddenly, you feel anxious. Your brain starts searching for emotional safety again. That anxiety often makes people over-apologize, chase reassurance, ignore their own boundaries. How to counter it? Do not beg for communication. Healthy adults communicate directly. Silence should never be used as emotional punishment. Someone saying a sentence such as, "You're attacking me. I guess I'm just a horrible person then," is a manipulation tactic called playing the victim. Some manipulators avoid accountability by becoming the victim. Suddenly, the conversation shifts away from their behavior and onto comforting them. This tactic creates guilt and confusion. How to counter it? Separate empathy from accountability. Someone can struggle emotionally and still be responsible for harmful behavior. Someone saying, "Other people don't complain like you do. My ex never acted like this." This is called triangulation. Triangulation happens when someone uses another person to create insecurity, jealousy, or competition. The goal is emotional destabilization, because insecure people seek more validation. How to counter it? Refuse to compete for respect. Healthy relationships do not require emotional rivalry. Another one is projection. Projection is when someone accuses you of behaviors they're actually doing themselves. For example, dishonest people accusing others of lying, manipulative people calling others manipulative. Projection helps people avoid accountability. How to counter it? Focus on actions and consistent behavior patterns, not just accusations. This happens when expectations constantly change, so you never feel good enough. No matter what you do, the standards keep moving. This creates emotional exhaustion and insecurity. How to counter it? Recognize impossible standards. Healthy relationships allow appreciation, stability, and emotional safety. Now, this is one of the most addictive manipulation tactics psychologically. It's called intermittent reinforcement. The affection becomes unpredictable. Hot and cold behavior. Attention, then withdrawal. Your brain becomes obsessed with getting the emotional reward back. This creates trauma bonds. How to counter it? Stop confusing inconsistency with passion. Real love is consistent, not emotionally destabilizing. In summary, The strongest manipulation tactics usually rely on three emotions: fear, obligation, and guilt. You feel afraid to disappoint them, obligated to fix them, guilty for prioritizing yourself, and slowly, you stop listening to your own needs completely. How to counter it? Reconnect with your boundaries. You are allowed to protect your peace. Healthy love does not require fear to maintain connection. Manipulation becomes powerful when it goes unnoticed, but awareness changes everything. Because once you can identify manipulation, you stop internalizing it. You stop abandoning yourself to keep unhealthy people comfortable. And you begin protecting your peace, your boundaries, your emotional clarity, and your self-worth. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.